What exactly is a special cup? I understand that the first three cups in the game were based off of power-ups from Super Mario Bros. So if they wanted to continue with that, they didn't really have another power-up to add. But I mean, this game came out after Super Mario World, and instead of having the feather as an item, they could have had the feather as one of the cups. Or they could have done what they did with the star and have it be an item that you can use and the name of one of the cups. In Super Mario Kart, the special cup didn't even have its own logo. It was just a mishmash of all three of the previous cups. In 64 and Super Circuit, they at least threw an S on this diamond background to make it somewhat relevant. But then by the time they got to Double Dash and until now, they just threw this crown on there. What is this crown? I could be wrong, but I don't think it's an item or a power-up or a character from any game. I did some minor Googling to verify it wasn't in one of the spin-offs. Well, I guess it is part of the spin-off since it's in Mario Kart, but you know what I mean. This is basically the only cup that not only is the name not really relevant to the current logo that it holds, but that logo is the only logo that doesn't have any relevance outside of what its sole purpose is, that being the logo for the special cup itself. I understand its origins to an extent. This was the unlockable cup in the early games in the series, it was the finale. In every game since Super Mario Kart, the fourth and final track of the game has been Rainbow Road, and it's always been at the end of the special cup. And starting from Super Circuit and onwards, the penultimate course has always been a Bowser track. It seems like by the time they got to the GameCube, they realized that the name Special Cup was not a good name for the cup, but at that point they should have just changed the name to the Crown Cup along with the logo. The only thing I can think of is that they wanted to keep everything consistent from the first game until now, but at that point, why did you even change it to a crown? I don't know, this bothers me way more than it should. The only other interesting tidbit here is that the Special Cup was the fourth cup in every game, except for Super Circuit because it was the final cup and they had 5 cups in that game. But to get back to the actual focus of this video, and to continue grading these Grand Prix the way I did in the previous 3 segments, check out my playlist if you're new around here, because I'm uploading daily Mario Kart Grand Prix analyses. In the case of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, the Special Cup consists of Cloud Top Cruise, Bone Dry Dunes, Bowser's Castle, and Rainbow Road. I really like the setting of Cloud Top Cruise. It's easy to take for granted because I'm frequently just racing somebody on here, but all of the details of the backgrounds of this track are so fun to look at. The airships, the random flying Koopas, the segment with the lightning over the boost pads always sticks out to me. I'd say this is a really good opening track for any Grand Prix really. But I think the airship setting and taking place in the sky makes it a good opening for the Special Cup, considering this is the last Grand Prix for the Nitro tracks in the game. The map is a pretty simple loop, but there's a lot going on in the course itself that makes it a lot more enjoyable and more exciting to play through. I don't have too much to complain about this track. I really like the aesthetic and I appreciate the course. I wouldn't say it's a 3-point course for me though, it's more of a 1-point course, but I would understand if that upsets people and they think it's worth the 3 points. But for me, it's a race that I like, not necessarily one that I love. Moving on from there, we get to Bone Dry Dunes. So I've noticed over time that a lot of people tend to complain about deserts in this game, claiming that they're very bland and not as exciting. I don't know if Bone Dry Dunes gets the same criticism because it's a darker theme, and also because Dry Bones seems to have a cult following. What I will say is that I like how complex and varied this track is as you go through it, offering multiple split paths and obstacles so that you don't feel like you're just going straight through the track. I do find the jump in difficulty from the previous track to this one to be pretty steep, but we do have a Bowser track and a Rainbow Road coming up, so that might not matter. Once again, I'd consider this a good track, but not necessarily one that I love, so it's worth 1 point. Next up is Bowser Castle. In general, in pretty much every Mario spin-off game that I play, whether it's Mario Tennis, Mario Party, Mario Kart, I love Bowser-themed settings. Even in the mainline 3D Mario games, the more it looks like a traditional Bowser Castle, the more I enjoy it. And this Bowser track might be one of my favorites. It has a lot to offer, and it's fun to see how the track advances as you go through it. As soon as you start off, you enter into the castle itself, and you go through a long and eerie hallway with lasers shooting out at you. After that, you get into the anti-gravity sections where you have to dodge spike balls and flame wheels, and then the path splits off into 2 halves, and you got this giant Bowser magma monster that's just trying to punch down on you. Also, I'm pretty sure this is one of the few tracks that made it onto my Let's Play highlight channel, which I should probably start uploading to again at some point. Check it out if you want to see some dumb footage of me and my brother and cousins playing Mario Party and Mario Kart. They're not pure Let's Play streams, they're more like highlights of the streams. So if you don't like watching Let's Plays, you might still enjoy this. Think something along the lines of Party Crashers. Here's a tiny sample, even though the audio in particular of this video was not as good because we were playing in the same room and had to share a mic.
Who leaves a banana on the road?
I hate them.
Punch me, Bowser. Punch me.
What kind of kink is that?
I had a star. Yee! Ball and chain. I see a bunch of people falling off next to me.
Oh my god, Hajim, don't hit me, don't hit me, Hajim, no!
God damn it! I was in 4th, I'm in 10!
No!
More important things to worry about right now, like losing.
No!
That lightning, I had a star and then I had a golden mushroom.
Man, that sucks. You suck for 2.5 games! Go!
Anyway, Bowser's Castle obviously gets itself 3 points. And some of you guys might not like this, but I am going to have to dock a point because if you put Bowser Castle and Bone Dry Dunes side by side, the theme all around just looks very similar. The Grand Prix is still going to get 2 points, but I can't give it 3 for this reason. Okay, so my view of this Rainbow Road in general is a bit complicated. When this game first came out, I thought it was really good. And that's partially because it was Rainbow Road with anti-gravity and all that fun stuff. What's interesting is, at some point, I think I saw people start to dislike this one, or it might have been the one from Mario Kart 7 that was disliked, I'm not sure. The issue I have is, Rainbow Road is supposed to be a finale, a spectacle. So in previous games when they brought back the old Rainbow Roads, it still felt like the one that was in the Nitro Cup Special Cup finale was the best one. But they did such a good job implementing the retro tracks in this game, which I know I haven't covered any of them yet, that it's made this Rainbow Road feel inferior to almost every other one in the game for me. And part of that is because I feel like there isn't enough road in this Rainbow Road, if that makes any sense. Like, yeah, a majority of it is a Rainbow Road, but you have the section where you jump off into the rotating platform, followed by the cannon in the sky. And then there are all these like narrow tracks where you have these anti-gravity boosts that you bump into and they just fling you right off the track. And I swear, just to troll me, I seem to always get mushrooms in this course, and that just guarantees I'm going to fall off. Obviously, I've almost exclusively played 200cc in the past couple years, so that might be part of it, but I do not like this course, and it will be the first one in this retrospective series so far that gets a 0. This Grand Prix is actually doing much worse than I expected it would. Going into it, I didn't think that I would have this much to say about it, to be honest. But that's kind of the fun part of this project. I'm not just looking at whether I like a stage or dislike it, I'm also looking at how it compares to the tracks around it. And I'm going to take this a step further and say that the difficulty curve is not good here. I feel like the first track starts you off good, but then the jump to the second track is way too steep, and it just kind of stays really difficult until the end of the Grand Prix. In the context of the actual Nitro Cups themselves, I think the Special Cup being the most difficult cup is a good choice. But I think as you evolve through the tracks in this cup, it doesn't do a very good job. So to summarize, Cloud Top Cruise earned 1 point. Bone Dry Dunes earned 1 point. Bowser's Castle earned 3 points. Rainbow Road earned 0 points. The 4 tracks weren't fully diverse, they were more semi-diverse because of the 2 that were similar, so they only earned 2 points instead of 3. And the poor difficulty curve means that they don't earn that point. The Special Cup is unfortunately my lowest scoring Grand Prix. It comes in at 7 points. For those of you new around here, I generally tend to upload every day at 11 AM Eastern Time, and if you check out my playlist, I went through a pretty in-depth retrospective on Mario 64, Mario 64 DS, and Super Mario Sunshine, as well as a handful of other retrospective playlists or individual videos that you can check out on my channel. At some point soon, I'll be doing a Mario Galaxy series as well, but in the meantime, I'm doing Mario Kart, so check back here every day at 11 AM if you're interested in following along. Next, we'll be looking at the retro tracks in the Shell Cup.